Okay, there we go. We're live. Hi, how are you? I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Super hot where I live and humid, but still a lot of fun. It's always wonderful to have weekends like that, right? So I hope you had a good one. And today I'm hopping in to talk. And what I noticed is if I make my lives a bit shorter and give you like a good amount of info with not a lot of time, that works best for everyone. So that's my goal, to do that. And today I wanted to talk about why our lives seem to keep repeating, or we keep living the same things from the past in our future, if anybody's ever had that experience besides me. So if you're watching live, please post, and hopefully I can see. This is streaming in a couple of places. If you have questions, I may not see it. I'll have to go back and answer. If you're watching the replay, please also, if you have any questions, leave them, because I'll go back and check later. I'll get notified that you left a comment or a question, and I would love to answer it for you. And so let's dive in, since my commitment is to not be on a super long time. Okay, when people are repeating their past, when people are creating the same sorts of circumstances over and over and over, why does that happen? And for me, I first started to notice this in the area of health in my own life, right? So I'm a functional health practitioner, and I got into that because of my own commitment to health and wellness, but also my own struggle with fatigue, thyroid issues. I was doing all the things and they kept coming back up, or something new but similar enough would show up. And that was in the area of health, but also in the other parts of my life. And I want to explain to you why that is. And I think it's so interesting that health, which is, physical symptoms, and life, which might be circumstances, why do they still play out the same way when we don't realize what's actually happening and we keep creating from our past? So hopefully this is something you can relate to, and you can get some movement for this in your own life. So what's important to understand is that when we're thinking, when we're making decisions, when we're seeing the world, we're doing that through about 5% of what our brain is capable of. That's your conscious mind. That's you deciding to watch this video, you listening, you deciding whether you understand or agree or don't or whatever. But all the conscious thoughts that we have makes up about 5% of what we're capable of. The other 95% is really our subconscious. It's the things that drive us to make the decisions that we make, drive us to feel the way that we feel, interestingly enough. And it's the feelings that have a huge impact on your health and also on the choices that you're going to make. So your subconscious, you can tell just by doing the math, right? 5% versus 95%. The subconscious is going to win out all the time. It's always going to get the upper hand. It's always going to drive you. So that might look like a conscious decision to go on a diet, right? I make a conscious decision. I'm going to go on this particular diet, whatever it is. Maybe it's the 10th diet of your life and you've tried 9 different ones and they all end up the same because we're living from the past, which is creating our future. So they all end up the same, but here you are, number 10. I'm going to do this, and you get yourself prepared. And at some point in, a week in, 2 weeks in, a month in, you nosedive. Like, why does that happen? Because the conscious decision to be on the diet, the conscious decision to make these changes, and I just picked diet because it's a common thing people have experienced. But whatever it is, that's a conscious decision. But your subconscious, which is the memories of the other 9 times that you did it and failed, and the feelings that you had about your weight and your body, let's say, since we're talking about diet, all of that is really driving your bus. You think it's you making a decision to eat this or that tonight for dinner, but it's really the unconscious stuck memories and emotions about your previous 9 diets that are actually going to determine how this goes for you. So let me do a different example, maybe just in case you're one of the few people who's never been on a diet in their life. Yay, you. But let me do a different example. So you're walking down the street and you see coming in the opposite direction a woman walking a golden retriever. And I'm picking a golden retriever because they typically have the reputation to be really friendly dogs and great. And, they wag their tail and they look all happy to see you. So it's, not like some kind of dog to be scared of. But you are coming down the street and you have this thought, oh my God, this dog is going to bite me. And immediately you have some trepidation about this dog coming towards you on the street, or actual fear, or you decide, you know what, I'm just going to cross to the other side of the street. So that drive, even though your brain might say, oh, golden retriever, they're really friendly. This particular dog looks really friendly. He's already wagging his tail. The woman's smiling at me, not looking like this is bad or going to be a problem. And yet I still feel nervous and I'm going to cross the street. So why does that happen? Because somewhere in your past, either you had an experience with a dog, any dog, and if it was a golden retriever, even more strongly emphasized, but probably it wasn't a golden retriever, any dog, or you didn't even have an experience yourself with a dog in your past, a negative experience, but you were raised in a household where your mom said all the time when you were little, don't go near dogs, you're going to get bit, don't touch the dogs, stay away from dogs, which isn't necessarily a bad message. Maybe it could have been something like always ask before you approach a dog, ask the owner or something like that. But the message that you got is dogs are bad or dogs can be dangerous. And so every time you see a dog, that's the feeling that you get, and the decision that you make is, let me get myself away. Okay, not that important of an example, but I wanted you to see how you might have the conscious realization, I don't need to worry about this, but yet your response is going to be driven from your past. Okay, so that's that 95% of the choices that you make, the decisions about yourself come from your past, and they're stuck in your body. So what do I mean by that, stuck in your body? Well, when something happens to us, we have an immediate emotional response, right? Somebody says something to us, something happens in our life, and there's an emotional response. And the emotions are actually made in the physical body in the form of chemicals. So it's a chemical response, right? Love will give you one response. It will produce the hormone oxytocin. It will give you feelings of joy and happiness and whatever. You're feeling in love with somebody, or you're holding your newborn baby and feeling love. So the experience creates the emotions that are derived from love. Or you have an experience that's creating emotions that are more derived from fear. Somebody does something to you, they betray you, you're dating somebody and they cheat on you or they lie to you, and now you feel betrayed, you feel worried about that. That's going to produce the hormone cortisol, like I have to have my guard up, I can't trust, right? And so that's going to produce a whole different cascade of chemicals in your body. So the emotion does become physical through the chemicals that we produce. Okay. I hope you're with me so far. I'm not seeing any questions, but I know I'm not seeing every place this is. So please post a question if you don't get this. But anyway, so the emotion creates a chemical byproduct or a chemical state in your body. Now thank you, Victoria. Okay, awesome. Thanks for letting me know. And please, if you have any questions. So the stronger that experience is, let's say you grow up in a household that has a lot of anger in it. And so every time your father, not to give dads the bad rap, but let's just say every time your father got home from work, everybody was walking on eggshells around him because he might blow up at any minute or something like that, right? So, so that would have a powerful, those emotions of fear and worry. Oh, it's time for him to come home soon. My mother's going to be a wreck. We have to be really good on good behavior. Those kinds of emotions created a chemical state in your body. And that actually can stay in your body, especially if you have an ongoing situation. So what happens is later in your life, we're making decisions with that chemical state, with those emotions kind of still stuck in our body. So we're making decisions. You could say, yeah, I know Victoria says it sounds familiar. I thought it might. That's why I thought this could be a good topic to talk about tonight. But you could say, what was I just going to say? You could say that the physical body is where the subconscious mind lives. So the conscious mind lives in your brain, right? You're making these conscious thoughts in the problem-solving parts of your brain. The subconscious, which is driving your emotions and where the memories are from the past, are in your body, your physical body. And they have the greater say, right? 95% outweighs 5%, hands down, 100% of the time. So what ends up happening is your physical body, if you don't actually start to clear out those stuck emotions, which might come from your 5-year-old household, or it might come from 2 years ago when you were going through a divorce. I don't know. Pick anything in life that happens, right? Something happens, the greater the emotional impact, the stronger that stays in your body. And so now, let's just say it was a divorce 2 years ago. Now you're single and you want to be dating again, but every time you meet somebody, that betrayal from your ex, right? The distrust, the worry, that's still in your body. It's still there. So you're never really free to be creating this new relationship from a blank slate. You're just not. Even if you think to yourself, oh, he's completely different, and oh, you're not different. You're still going to have that in you, and it's still going to drive your decisions and how you are. So if something comes up in a conversation, or if you can't get a hold of them, you're going to immediately be back in that place of, maybe I can't trust them. Maybe they're doing this again, and they're not. But your past is showing up in the present and the future that you are creating. Does this make sense, I hope? So who you are in your half of the relationship is going to be driven from what happened to you 2 years ago. You're not really free to be this blank slate of a woman, of a person, creating from nothing a new relationship. It's just not possible until you actually understand, what are the things that are still stuck in my body? What are the emotions that I haven't cleared? What are the decisions that I automatically make? So let's go back to the diet example, right? You're on diet number 10. You've been struggling with your weight your whole life. You've got 9 previous examples of diets that maybe worked for some amount of time. Maybe they even worked for a year and a half, but eventually, so I got this new mic. Sorry if you see me. I got this new mic. It's kind of a little intimidating right here. I was told people couldn't hear me that well, so I got this, but I keep hitting it with my hand. Okay. So with the diet, it's a new diet. It's different than one you ever did before, etc. However, even though the diet is new, just like the guy was new, who you are is the same. The you that you are bringing to this new diet is still living in the 9 diets that didn't work. And that's just as impactful as the golden retriever who's all happy, pappy, and friendly, but you're going to cross the road because you have a belief. In the moment you create a meaning, this dog is going to bite me. You have a belief from your past that dogs are dangerous. when you start diet number 10, you create a meaning the first time that you maybe don't do it perfectly, or the first time that you get caught out and about without food and you have to grab something out. And immediately your belief of the past previous 9 times is going to kick in. See, here I go again. I never stick with it. Diets don't work for me. And I'm not suggesting to go on a diet at all. I'm just using it as an example that you might have experienced in your life. But your beliefs are going to immediately kick in. And then the feelings about yourself, the feelings of resignation, the feelings of maybe some anxiety. Is this ever going to get better? And it can, but you have to clear your slate. You have to really get that subconscious. You got to take it into the shop for a tune-up or something. You've got to get rid of those old emotions. And maybe the examples that I'm picking seem pretty innocuous. I think diet and weight necessarily are not innocuous. Certainly for women, it wraps up a lot into how we feel about ourselves and how we present ourselves to the world, for sure, I think. But even pick something that has maybe a little more impact for you, like relationships. Money is a big one. However money has been, however it was in your household growing up, however it's been for you, all of that is in your subconscious and it's in your body, and it's going to drive how money and finances play out for you. That's why, and I'll finish up with this because I made a commitment to not be on too long, but that's why, you know, the story that you hear all the time, lottery winners, people who win $40 million, like 5 years later are back to being broke, because it wasn't the small bank account or the $40 million. Those are drastically different external circumstances. But who they were for themselves, within themselves, how they feel about themselves, and the decisions that they make driven by their subconscious, none of that changed. So, you know, how do you spend 40 million in 5 years? I don't know. I'd like to find out. But how that would happen, whatever a lottery winner would have and spend, would come from their beliefs about money, maybe their feelings of lack. I need to get this. I need to get this. I need to get this. Now I have this money. I need to get that, because they really come from a place of lack. And that has always been there, and it will continue to be there even when they're not in lack. They're going to feel that way, and they're going to make those decisions from a place of lack, which means they're going to pretty quickly, depending on how long it takes to spend 40 million, they're going to pretty quickly get themselves back to a place of lack. Because that's the other thing, is how powerful we are as human beings. What we believe, what our subconscious believes, and the emotions that we live in all the time, we will create that. It is the truth for us. It's not the truth, but it is the truth for us in the moment, until we realize that's what's happening. So we will create that scenario. We will make sure that happens. We will find the guy who betrays us again, just like the guy 2 years ago. Even though he seems completely different, whole different resume, like profile, everything is different. In the end, it will happen, because that is what we create when we are coming from the past. Okay, so in just under 20 minutes, I hope that that gives you something to think about for your own life. If you find that that's what's driving you, you know what, let me just take one more minute and say, for health, because that was my origin, my place of, oh, you're welcome. Oh, good. I'm glad it's helpful. My origin and place of growth that I was forced to was my health. And when I saw my own health, and then all of the people that I worked with, same thing happening, doing all the things, right? Just like winning the lottery, doing the elimination diets, doing the detoxes, taking the supplements, but only getting so far, because those emotions and those chemicals stay in the body, and they keep the immune system off balance, and they keep, they keep the hormones pumping in a way that is not optimal for our body, and it keeps chronic health conditions going. So I just wanted to loop that back into the area of health. Okay, so all right, tomorrow is Word for Wednesday, and then on Thursday I'll do another live similar topic. If there's something that you have an interest in, please post it, ask it somewhere, and I'll do my best to find it and address that and create a topic around it. Okay. We should be living our best lives. We should not be recreating the pain, the heartache, the disappointment from the past. We're not here to do that. We're here to live our best lives in our health and our body. Yeah. So Victoria, here's what I want you to know. I have been diagnosed in my past with 4 autoimmune conditions because, again, until I learned the importance of this and how to clear out that energy, the immune system just stays triggered. And you can manage your symptoms. That's one way to do it. But you can also actually reverse symptoms. And you can actually help your immune system get back to working appropriately. Okay, so that's what I want to tell you. So anyway, we are meant to live with good health. God he didn't mess up when he made, we are made in his image. He didn't mess up. He didn't make a mistake. But we have to learn how to get our bodies and our life working optimally. And this is probably the most important key to doing that. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you tomorrow, Word for Wednesday, Thursday, whatever that topic is. And I look forward to chatting with you. Have a good night. Bye.